The UKIP leader Nigel Farage. Mr Farage, really good to see you this afternoon. So was this a 5,000 words of platitudes, or was there more substance for you?
Very little substance at all, other than what she's made clear is that her vision, leave the European Union, but we do so in name only. We stay part of all the current structures, and what we do is we simply rebadge the status quo, whether it's in science or security or whatever area you care to mention. She thinks those relationships have been beneficial. And I thought the most telling line of the whole speech was towards the end when she said, "We don't seek an unfair competitive advantage." Well, that's what I voted for. I voted for us to be able to be competitive, to be global, to be free of European laws, and she shows no desire or no vision to be the kind of leader we need to take us on to be a global trading nation.
Mr Farage, Theresa May and her supporters will say that certain negotiations so far have come to a stalemate. They have stalled. We're only a few days away from the next round of negotiations. So in this case, in this circumstance, perhaps it's best to give this round to Europe so we can in order for us to be able to move to the next stage of the negotiation process.
Anyone that's worked in business knows that when you enter a negotiation, both sides have to be prepared to walk away from the table and for there to be no deal. That previously was her position. She dropped that today. So today she said, look, whatever happens, we won't walk away from the table, but will you please, in the course of the next few years, and I say few years because with a transition period, this is all going to go on until 2021, would you please give us the kind of arrangements that we ask for? I wouldn't be surprised if her vision of a 2-year transition didn't become many, many times more than that.
Transport Secretary Chris Grayling has said that this speech outlines Theresa May's bold vision for our relationship with the European Union.
Well, it outlines a vision for our relationship with the European Union being virtually unaltered, but just under a different series of badges and titles.
So where do we go from here, Mr Farage? As I said, we're only a few days from the next round of negotiations. Michel Barnier yesterday said that he was confused, he was dumbstruck that we are still talking about issues from weeks ago. Is this not the right approach? And what would your approach be? What would your recommendations to Theresa May be right now?
I don't think Mr Barnier wants a deal. I think right from the start he's made a series of totally impossible demands. We do keep giving. We get nothing back in return. The idea that because we pay a membership fee for 2 further years, that'll satisfy Mr Barnier financially, I think, frankly, is for the birds. The only hope, I think, that the Brits have got is to go above the people living and working in Brussels, to go straight to the member state governments, to go straight to the manufacturers who make cars and wine and sell it in this country and try and get some pressure put on there for a sensible trade deal. And if that route doesn't work, then rather than waste years of our lives, rather than sending out a signal to the rest of the world that we won't be open for business until at least 2022, it would be better, if we're not going to get a decent deal, to walk away from it and start again.
Theresa May spoke of rejection of the Canada and Norway model. What model would you propose? What would be the best way forwards for the United Kingdom now?
Well, logic says that as one of the most important export markets in the world, that a free trade deal is in all of our interests. Barnier, Juncker and Verhofstadt don't want that, but it's pretty clear that the electorates of the other European countries would want that. So we have to try and form some compact with the countries in Europe, not this central group in Brussels who are acting in their own interests. I would think that's the only hope we have of reaching a deal.
Nigel Farage, many thanks indeed. Well, let's go straight back